I am honored to be here with Maria Shriver to sit down and have a conversation. She is an incredible award-winning journalist, author, activist, mother, philanthropist, you name it. She embodies it. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to be here with you.
It's such a pleasure to be able to speak with you. When you look at where you are now, what feels like your purpose in life?
I think my purpose has always been the same. It's to see myself as a vessel. I see myself as someone who's always been interested in stories that inspire, stories that ignite people to see themselves, what I call as architects of change. My purpose has always been to lift other people up, whether it's through my journalism, my activism, my books, all of it. I say it's to move humanity forward in whatever that means to you, and to me it means to kind of make the world better.
I love your Sunday paper.
Thank you.
So anybody who hasn't subscribed. It is uplifting, especially if you've had a hard week. I open it up on Sunday and you bring me some calm.
Well, I'm glad, because the whole point of it really is to bring hope, to bring meaning. It's journalism with a purpose. It's, I call service journalism. Its goal is to move humanity forward. Its goal is to bring you stories of people who have done extraordinary things, lived extraordinary lives. They're not necessarily famous, but they're people who are willing to share their stories of grief, of trauma, of triumph, of loss, and with the goal of helping others. And so I see it as everybody who's in that Sunday paper every single Sunday is in service to humanity. They're trying to move humanity forward in their own way. And it's a community of millions of people who want to see the world be better, kinder, more compassionate. They see themselves as vessels, as vehicles of inspiration and hope. And they're all active in our world in various different ways. And so I see it's really started as a labor of love and continues to be so.
Well, it's making a huge impact. I know we send, my girlfriend Jane, we send it around to make sure if you didn't have a chance to read Maria today, read it. It's really great. So thank you for bringing that hope and inspiration and reflection every single week.
It's, I always say to my team, they're all like, I'm like, oh my God, it's hard every week to kind of come up with, something to write about and to think about. And then when I hear people come up to me and say, I look forward to it on Sunday, I find renewed hope, or I look at a different perspective because of what I read in the paper, I'm like, oh, okay, all right, okay. I'll stay at it, I'll continue on. But I think we all need encouragement, right, to stay at something that requires a lot of work, or that we wonder, I think in this virtual age, is anything we're doing landing? Does anybody care? Does anybody read it? I think we live in a society now where we wonder, does anybody care? Does anybody care about what I'm dealing with, whether I'm trying to raise kids or taking my kids to school? Does anybody care whether it's safe? Does anybody care what I'm going through with my parents? Does anybody care about what I'm writing about? So I think the more we can tell one another, hey, I'm reading that and it's great, then I'm like, whoa, okay, great, I'll stay at it. Or more, you're like, you're doing a great job taking care of your mom. I'm like, oh, great, I'll stay at it, I think we need encouragement to stay at it.
Yes, times are hard.
Yeah.
Life is hard.
Life is hard, it's complicated, it's confusing, it's changing. All those 3 C words,
yes.
It's complicated, confusing, changing. And I think people are looking for reassurance that it's going to be okay. The amount of people that come up to me and say, do you think it's going to be okay? Is it going to be okay? And, I guess it depends on what your okay is, right? But it's going to be okay. You're okay, it's going to be okay. And then people go, oh, thank you, okay.
You come from a family that has been rooted in public service. How has that influenced your own path and how you move forward in life?
Well, it moved me forward through public service. I mean, I was raised to believe that you were here to be of service. And so service has always been a part of my life. I have not known a life other than that. It was never an option for me not to be of service. So I think my parents were incredible role models, as were my aunts and uncles and my grandparents. And that was the discussion and the expectation. So I had a clear expectation from my parents. This is what we expect of you. And you can go dabble in your journalism over there, do your thing. But we expect that you'll be doing something, either with us or in, the service space as well. Mm-hmm. It was always an and.
Your mother founded Special Olympics.
Yes.
And I will tell you personally, my cousin's daughter, it was she recently passed, but she was very active in the Special Olympics. It brought her so much joy into her life. So I wanted to share that with you, but also you told me you started volunteering at 6?
Yeah. My mother, once again, expectation. She never asked me to volunteer. She just had buses of kids that came to the house and buses of volunteers, and she'd be like, flagpole, 7 a.m., be out there. And then she'd be like, okay, we need some help in the pool. Go work in the pool today. Or we need help with the horses. Go down and help with the horses. So it was, once again, I wasn't asked. I was just told. And all my friends who would come over in grade school, they'd be like, oh, I don't want to come over to your house because your mother always makes us go work in a soup kitchen or go work in your camp. It's like, and so actually kids didn't want to come over because they were like, oh, I don't want to, we just want to play, And I was like, oh, okay, well, whatever. But I'm actually really glad that she did that because it never, I'm sure had she asked me, I probably would have been like, no, I don't want to go do that. I'll go, watch TV or something like that, right? So I think it was a clear way of parenting. These are my expectations of you, of your brothers, and, get out there and do it. She was tough. She was not, about feelings or, sharing. We've talked a lot about people sharing their experiences. She was not into that. She was into doing. And she was not into, I don't know if she ever asked me how I feel. I'm not sure. But she was very just get moving.
Right. Yeah. It might come with a name. We just learned
our
mothers share the name Eunice. And you're kind of describing my mother, except she didn't have me volunteering at 6. But I'm guessing you felt that reward of service early.
Not really. I don't think so. I mean, I didn't know it to be, quote, service. It was just how they lived. It was how they lived and worked. It wasn't called service. It was just what they did. So I just emulated what they did. And I don't know that I felt a reward at 8 or 9. Mm-hmm. I felt like I have to go down there and work in the pool with 100 other volunteers. And I'm the youngest, and really probably I was like, what am I doing? But I think, you feel the reward later. But I don't think I grew up thinking like, oh, this is really rewarding at 6 and 7.
So tell me, you've done some remarkable work around women's health and Alzheimer's. Can you share a little with the mPower community what you've done and what we've learned?
Well, I started the Women's Alzheimer's movement back in 2010, and that came as a result of reporting that I did, which stated for the first time that women were disproportionately impacted by Alzheimer's, and nobody knew why because there had been no funding into women's brains. So we started the Women's Alzheimer's movement, which is now at the Cleveland Clinic. Several years ago, we started the Women's Health and Research Center at the Cleveland Clinic. It's called the Comprehensive Women's Health and Research Center, to really look at women's lives and their health spans, because there's been so little research and so little funding of research on women's bodies. So we don't know what are the long-term effects of birth control, what are the long-term effects of having a hysterectomy at a certain age, why do women get Alzheimer's at double the rate, why do they get MS, why do so many women suffer from depression, what is going on in a woman who's perimenopausal, menopausal, and postmenopausal, what is the long-term effect of HRT, and the list just really goes on. So my work has been to try to make the visits to doctor's office different for younger women than it was for me. My mission is to make sure that when my daughters get to my age and they come and ask questions about menopause or life after menopause, that they're met with research-based answers. My hope is that doctors going to medical school will begin to get educated about a woman's health journey and how it's different from a man's health journey. I hope we'll begin to see doses of medication geared to women. Hopefully we'll see medication tested on women and not just on men. So my mission is to change the landscape for women's health and research, and to do so, many women are working in this space, and we need more women to be advocates, not only for their own health, their parents' health, and their daughters' health, but they need to vote on this issue and be advocates when they get into the doctor's office for their own bodies and brains.
Right.
And I started a protein bar with my son, Patrick. It's called Mosh, and it funds research into women's brains. It's a protein bar for brain health, because we were just talking about, we now know, I think, the benefits of physical exercise, but still people aren't really aware of what they can do for their brain's health. And eating for your brain health is a big pillar of a brain healthy lifestyle, as is exercise and sleep and other things. Right. But so that is our effort to get the conversation going around food in the brain.
Yes. So if women, I think we go to the Cleveland Clinic website if we want to see the results.
If you want to see the Women's Comprehensive Health Center, go to the Cleveland Clinic Center there. Go to the Women's Alzheimer's Movement.org if you're interested in prevention, if you're interested in knowing more about Alzheimer's and women and what you can do now to change your trajectory. We now know that about 45 to 50% of Alzheimer's and dementia cases could be prevented if people adapted different lifestyle choices. And that's a sea change in the Alzheimer's space that didn't exist when I got into that space. It used to be that Alzheimer's was just viewed from a plaques and tangle lens and as an inevitable part of aging. It was viewed as something that didn't disproportionately impact women. That's all been thrown out the window. Certainly the plaques and tangles are still there, but the idea that prevention is now part of the conversation, that women's health is viewed as the kind of central narrative on Alzheimer's. And if I always was saying, well, if Alzheimer's is 20 years in your brain before you're really symptomatic, what is going on in women at midlife?
Right.
And what is happening, to the estrogen and other hormones that have been a part of a woman's life when that begins to change? And that change begins in the brain. And so what do women need to know about that time? And how do they navigate that time? And how do they best set up their brains to work through that period and beyond?
Yes. I was happy to hear when you talked earlier about needing to rest your brain and how important sleep is. And I think women carry so much stress. We've got a lot on our plates. Women sometimes don't get enough sleep, probably more often than they should.
That's a part of menopause as well, right?
Yes, you can't sleep through the night.
You can't sleep through the night. You don't have the same estrogen in your brain as before. So sleeplessness, along with irritability, along with, many other symptoms, is a part of perimenopause and menopause and even postmenopausal life. And so I think kind of resting your brain, getting bored is good for your brain. How do you manage stress? So many people of all ages today are under tremendous stress, financial stress, right? Physical stress, mental stress. How do you rest your brain, not just in sleep, but throughout the day? And so these are all, I think, new conversations that are going on and necessary as well. As we kind of look at the brain and we have a conversation really about longevity, it must include the brain, because you can't just have, can't be in great physical shape without your brain.
Right. Well, thank you. I could talk to you about this all day, but I know I don't have the luxury of being with you all day.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Thank you for supporting mPower and for being with me today.